Internal Developer Advocacy. What is this role all about? Internal Developer Advocacy is a new role in the tech space and is gaining adoption gradually, but there is already developer relations, there is developer advocacy, and now internal developer advocacy. Really, what is with all these names? What do this even mean? I'm currently an internal developer advocate and I've been in this role for 7 months, so I'm still pretty new in the space, and I came from a point of not knowing what developer advocacy was all about to a point of I think I understand what this role is about. And you know, it's also kind of a long name because when people ask me what is your job title, I'm like internal developer advocate. Like, can't I just say IDA or something shorter? Anyways, in this video I want to share my learnings and my current understanding about internal developer advocacy. If this is your first time on my space, my name is Dillion. I currently reside in Netherlands, and on my space I share from my career, my tech experience, from being an engineer to developer advocate to everything in between. So if these are videos you're interested in, then please hit the subscribe button. Back to internal developer advocacy. In my previous role, I used to be a developer advocate, and now I was looking for my next job, my next role, and I came across this job, internal developer advocacy, and I was like, internal developer advocate, since when? And I remember trying to research what this role was all about, and I found this article on getambassador.io. I think it was the major article I found during that period, and it explained internal developer advocacy. You know what? I'm just going to call this IDA because it's stressful. It explained IDA as improving engineering experience, knowledge sharing, and all those things. So that article, along with the job description, kind of gave me an idea of who an internal developer advocate was. So far in this role, I would say I've enjoyed it and I have learned a lot. So, sharing my learnings and understanding about this role. Before I go into internal developer advocacy, let me just touch a bit on what developer advocacy means. Developer advocacy is kind of bridging that gap between technology and user adoption. A company offers a technology, a product, a service, and then you have the user adoption part, the customers, the engineers of those customers who would implement what they want to implement using your service. Developer advocates come in to bridge that gap, trying to advocate for these developers, showing them how to use the company's product, you know, how to do certain things. They do this in various forms. It could be in forms of written content, video content, in form of conference talks, in form of various means. And not just that, they would also be involved in taking feedback from the engineers, the user adoption side, taking those feedback to the company like, hey, the engineers also want something like this, they want something like that. Now, developer advocacy depends on the company. Different companies can have different responsibilities for their developer advocates, but the main idea is technology and user adoption. And usually when you hear developer advocate, it is seen from an external side between the company and the customers. But now there is something like internal developer advocacy. So since there is internal developer advocacy, it means there is also external developer advocacy. Developer advocacy that is very common and popular now is external developer advocacy. Now, this is the idea of an internal developer advocate. Let me give an example. In small companies, when they want to build their tools and their platforms or whatever it is they're offering, they would most likely use tools that already exist. They may use React as a library. They may use this database solution. They don't build the tools or the libraries themselves. They just use these libraries to build their product. But in other companies, or let me say in well-established companies who are very particular or conscious about risk or about the third-party tools that they use, they may want to build their own tools. Now, this is the platform side of that company. I think you'd find people calling them platform engineers. So they kind of build the platform, libraries, tools, workflows, setup, environments. They build all of these platform tools that the product engineers now use to build the company's product. You have platform engineers and you have product engineers. And now there is a gap. Who comes into this gap? Internal developer advocates. So internal developer advocates will be advocating for this engineers, the product engineers. Just the same way you see it between a company's product and the customers, now it is the company's platform engineers, the people who build the foundation, and you have the product engineers which use the platform tools to build the company's product. Internal developer advocates come in there to bridge in that gap. Now in certain companies, you may already have internal developer advocates. It's just informal. You'd have that person who is involved in knowledge sharing, still similar responsibilities with external developer advocates. So that person will be involved in knowledge sharing. Maybe they know the platform tools just so much, so they provide kind of like training sessions, documentation, articles or videos or gatherings to explain how the platform tools work, trying to improve that communication and improving the adoption of these engineers. So you have it in some companies, or you have informal internal developer advocates, but you have other companies that would have official or formal internal developer advocates, and the idea is the same: improving user adoption, or in this case improving engineering or product engineering adoption. So official internal developer advocates will still be involved in knowledge sharing, documentation, various initiatives. Just like external developer advocacy, it can also be different for internal developer advocates per company. A particular company might have these responsibilities for their internal developer advocate, and another company might have these other responsibilities. The main idea of internal developer advocacy is enabling the developers to be able to build their product. You can also see it as improving the internal engineering experience. So in my case, as an internal developer advocate, my customers is the internal engineers. But for external developer advocates, their customers is the external developers that use the company's product. There is one more example I wanted to include in this video, and while I was editing it, I remembered that I forgot to include it. So please forgive my hair, forgive my face. Anyways, the example. So think about React. React is an open source library, but let's assume it is not open source. It's an in-house library that Facebook uses. Now, there were certain engineers who built React. Think of it as a platform tool, maybe a platform solution, a platform service, a platform framework, whatever you want to call it. And then there were engineers who used React to build Facebook product, maybe Instagram ads, the Facebook homepage, whatever Facebook offers. Internal developer advocates can also fulfill their roles by bridging that gap between the engineers that built React and the engineers that are using React to build Facebook product. Internal developer advocates in those cases can be responsible for documentation, organizing trainings where these engineers can share best practices with the people that use React. So think about external developer advocacy, the way you would approach customers and share knowledge and again improve user adoption. That is the same role that internal developer advocates can play in companies that have these platform tools. So there are different initiatives for IDAs. In general, they are trying to improve the communication between the product engineers and the platform engineers. Now, in certain cases, at least this was something that also took me a while to understand, I felt like since the product engineers and the platform engineers live in the same company, they work in the same company, can't this person just easily share their feedback or ask questions, or can't this person just easily explain what their tool is to this person? On a Slack channel, for example, I can go ask a question, hey, why does this platform tool do this? Well, as a company begins to grow and grow and grow and more engineers are onboarded, it could be hard to share all of this knowledge with these people, to onboard these new engineers to these platform tools, or to have a good feedback loop about these platform tools. Also with IDAs, it involves a lot of coffee chats and talking to people, because you want to know what the engineers' pain points are, how you can help them, what feedback you can transfer to the platform engineering, or just general problems that they have. So it involves a lot of talking with people, a lot of chatting, asking questions, in some cases even surveys to know what people's problems are. Now, don't get me wrong, IDA is not just platform engineers and product engineers. It could also be things like general best practices or general knowledge sharing that can help the internal engineers overall improve the engineering experience. So this is what I understand about internal developer advocacy so far. Maybe in the next couple of months or years, as I'm more established in this role, I would learn more about it, and when I do, I would definitely share on my channel here. So I hope these analogies and examples that I have said make sense, and now you understand the difference between external developer advocacy advocacy and internal developer advocacy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a share. Also like, subscribe, just engage, because doing that helps the YouTube algorithm to share these videos with others. See you in my next video. Peace.